I want to talk about my broader theory that a lot of women are dating for the performance of courtship rather than to actually find someone they're compatible with.
So I went on a date last night with a guy that I was really excited about. We'd had some fun banter when we were texting. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a good time. But my clients went to lunch. I was telling them how excited I was for this date, and they were like, what are you going to wear? And I said, I don't know. And they said, well, after lunch, we should go to Nordstrom's and go shopping and find something. And I was like, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. Go to Nordstrom, and I try on a bunch of things, and we don't like any of them, and decide that I'm just going to wear something from my closet. I was thinking about like, okay, what is the timeline of my day now that I've spent the entire afternoon with friends, which I didn't expect? What am I going to wear tonight? I want to make a good first impression on him. All of the things that I think are normal. Get there, he's already there, sitting at the bar, and he's wearing a polo shirt and a pair of shorts and sneakers. And I'm like, that's pretty casual, more casual than I expected for this environment. He was at brunch earlier in the day and didn't have time to go home and change. And also makes a comment about how I have some catching up to do, as in I have some drinking catching up to do. Then the next couple hours there, we have 2 drinks. He starts touching me, like, grabbing my arm when he's laughing, or like squeezing my shoulder when he says something. And I'm like, it's giving like he doesn't know how to read the room, because I'm not reciprocating any of this. And we've shifted from the bar to a little couch on the rooftop to watch the sunset, which was very nice. He reaches out and touches my leg one more time. And at this point, I've like shifted over to the edge of the couch as far away from him as I can possibly get. And he doesn't seem to get the hint. So at one point I say to him, do you make a habit of wearing shorts on the first date? He's startled by that. And he says, should I be wearing pants? And I said, well, it just caught me by surprise. It seemed pretty casual for you to be wearing shorts. And he's like, well, it's the middle of summer. And I said, yeah, it's the middle of summer, but it's nighttime. At this point when we're having this conversation, it's 9 p.m. I also went to brunch today, but I made sure that I had enough time to go home and take a shower. And then I told him, it's not about the fact that you're wearing shorts. Honestly, to me, it's more about the fact that you didn't think that it was important enough to go home and take a shower before coming to meet me to give me like a really strong first impression. I walked in here and you were wearing shorts, and then you told me that you didn't even go home in between the plans you had earlier today. And it didn't make me feel very good, because I spent a lot of time getting ready to come down here and meet you. So we go back and forth about this a little bit. It gets awkward. And I feel a little bad because I'm not trying to shame him, but I also don't feel bad because I'm like, dude, you didn't put a lot of effort in tonight, and maybe you should just own that. And he texts me. And he sends me a peace sign emoji and a screenshot of the Google definition of the word vain.
I am not going to remark on wearing a polo shirt and shorts on a date, because that part to me is not relevant. What I want to talk about is this story within the context of my broader theory that a lot of women are dating for the performance of courtship rather than to actually find someone they're compatible with. She realized that she wasn't compatible with this person, that she wasn't interested in this person, and she was trying to physically demonstrate her lack of interest in this person. He was not picking up on that. She was over him before the date even started because of her perception that he had not put in enough effort. Oh, I see he's wearing shorts. That's kind of a turnoff. We get 1 round of drinks, and I say to myself, you know what? I think I'm going to call it. Thank you so much. It was really nice to meet you. And then maybe, if you feel compelled, sending an anti-ghost text at the end of the night. That is what a person who has self-esteem would do. When you have determined that you are uncomfortable with this person physically, that is the point at which you leave the date. You create an opening. That is very straightforward. You do not at that point then decide to continue the date for yet another drink with someone who you've already determined you have no compatibility with, no interest in, and you resent. The reason that I call this a performance is because it seems that this woman wanted to admonish him for wearing shorts, to chew him out for not performing adequately. And that is a waste of time. Me, it seems likely that she would say, well, I just wanted to say that so that when he goes on a date with the next woman, he won't wear shorts. It's not your job to instruct a man on how to date after you. It is your job to communicate what you want, what you don't want, and where you think you're compatible, and if you see a way forward. That is your only job. Dating is a project to find people with whom you feel compatibility. That is what it is. The point at which you realize you do not feel compatibility is the point at which you owe it to yourself and to the other person to respectfully end it. You do not owe it to anybody to try to teach them how to be better at dating. And it's the same with the voice memo guy. We don't owe it to him to tell him how to talk to women better. We just hear the voice memo, go ick, and then go on our merry way. It's not rocket science, guys. And so rather than simply asking herself, do I like this man? Do I want to continue spending time with this man? She followed the patriarchal expectation that you continue the date. And I don't understand that. I just don't get that. This woman knew from the moment she laid eyes on this dude that she was not interested in him. It is fine and dandy to give the person a conversation because you feel you owe it to them because they came out and met you. But continuing to give him your time after you've already realized that you're not interested in him is dishonest. And it's not the point of dating. Then at the end, he had the gall to send me a text saying that we're not compatible. The woman is upset that a man she doesn't even like has rejected her. So do it first. Reject him first. You can do that. That's allowed. Did you guys know that you're allowed to say what you want and what you don't want to somebody that you're potentially dating? Did you know that you're allowed to do that? Please